and go to the control side, not the live side.
Okay.
I know. All the things we can do.
I don't know why it's lagging. You know what we might be able to do is go to actually just cancel that. And you can see the slides that are on here. Come on. Oh, okay. I think it's just the image size, it's just a little laggy. So this is a presenter view here. So if you want to go back and forth, then you can click on Chrome. If you come back over here and click on this presenter view, it just shows you like where you're at in your shading events.
Nice.
So
very good.
The image size is lagging a little bit. I'm not sure why. So it might be because you're just trying to balance some things. You can close other applications that might help.
Should I close these other two out or just leave?
Leave PowerPoint going, but you can close anything else out that you're not using.
Sure.
I know. The chamber.
Just quit Skype if you don't want, actually.
Anybody into videography?
There's an install program.
Separate field. Get the chambers recommended how you use videography. Okay. Yes, only attach it to me. Yes. I don't think I'll check.
Very awesome.
No, not at all.
All right.
I actually finished it yesterday, and I'm giving one next week. I can already see the other thing. It's just open-ended about. Yep. Yeah, I need multiple choices because I see this like. Are you ready? You think you got you?
I think I'm all right. I think we're good.
Thank you very much. I think we're good to go. All right. So this is Brad's old house.
Okay.
And he has, how do you pronounce it? Ooh,
Old house.
Old house. Okay, that's right. I need to pronounce it. And he came to me by way of Tom Evans and Patty White, and I'm very happy to have him here because social media is not my forte, and he's doing it and living it and breathing it, and so I thought this would be an opportunity for you guys to figure out how it's actually in the world, and so he's got all the screens working and has been here trying to figure out this room. So Tyler, you're on the top, and all right, Tyler in the purple. Yep. All right. So thank you very much, and I sent you guys a bio. Brad sent me a bio yesterday, and so I put that on Google.
Well, thanks for having me today, and Annette, thank you for allowing me to be here. Again, my name's Brad. I handle next gen business on pretty much everything. Like you said, I live, breathe, and die by this stuff every day. I'm probably a little bit insane when it comes to social media. Feel like that gives me a little bit of an advantage in the workplace, especially in today's world where social media changes daily. Today we'll talk a little bit about the state of the union of social media, where it's at right now, how businesses are using it, and a little bit of a philosophy. I'll go over a local case study, and we'll talk about some myths versus facts. And give you a couple of golden rules of social media, and then after that, I really want to take questions because Q&A I think gives you the best value for your time, and feel free to ask me anything. So that being said, your takeaway for today, I hope, will be that social media is not an ad platform, but it's used as an engagement tool. Right? That's the thought process now as business leaders and marketers and owners need to realize. All right? So keep that in mind, and let's do a little bit of an introduction. We've already talked about me, born and raised in Montana, living and breathing social media, and now we're going to kind of go around the room and break the ice a little bit. I want you to tell me who you are by raising your phone in here. Tell me your name, tell me your device, and tell me your favorite social media app. All right? I'm going to pick on you. We're going to start back in the plan. And feel free to have your phones out too, by the way. This is what social is all about. You guys use your phones all the time. You're welcome to use them. I want you to use them. Go ahead. Tyler 6 and probably
None.
there you go.
Dad, iPhone 4, will be probably. David, iPhone 6. Dylan, iPhone 5. And Chase, iPhone 6.
Mike, 5
Emily, iPhone 5S and Instagram. Andy Forrest and Naughty.
Chris, Galaxy, and Instagram.
Patrick,
5S.
Bridget, 5A.
awesome. Just to deflate any expectations, I'm a former hockey player. There's no way in hell I'm going to remember you. So if I refer to you by your phone or if they hate you, please forgive me. All right. So here we go. Let's get into it. I want to give you a video first. To kind of give you a little context of the video for short. The stats come from a couple different places. First of all, the guy that produced this video is a guy named Eric Qualman. If you are wanting to pursue marketing in any realm or career, you're going to want to start following Eric Qualman, who's known as Equal Man on every platform. The guy is a former MIT graduate and professor, and he knows his stuff. And he's he's considered a thought leader in our industry and somebody that is really pushing the change in the pace in business right now. So make sure you give him a follow. The stats you're going to see are a little bit staggering. You guys my age, I'm 35 years old, but to you, it's probably not going to be tough, right? Like, you are the first generation to grow up with all internet all the time. And your phones, your mobile, and that's just your way of life, which is awesome. So that's going to change the world, by the way. So the stats come from Harvard Business Review, and Business Insider did a report with another industry leader called Social Media Examiner. So if social media specifically is something you want to follow, definitely follow Social Media Examiner. Michael Stelzner has awesome stuff. So let me see if I can get this to play. I didn't actually test this before I got in here, and I'm sorry about that. You guys can hear it, right? It's just A couple years ago. It's really awesome. Go ahead, look it up on YouTube if you're interested. Quick questions about the video. Yeah, you understand. You agree, disagree? Talk to me. Little scary, eh? Right? What about sense of smell? Knocking out. Now I got to think about it. Absolutely. That's where it's going, right? Mobile and social aren't emerging memories. I mean, you guys are tested with that. You're the future. You're demographic. I hate this. You guys know. Always remember that if you get into marketing, it's human to human. Okay? You're not talking about demographics. You're not talking about, sub-demographics, subcategories, and things like that. You need to remember that the brand that will survive the next 5 years of the one is going to talk to the people that get engaged and talk to their customers and really bring them into the process. Okay? The brands that are not afraid to be out on social, to be transparent, to tell you stories, those are going to be the ones that move on. And the businesses that do not embrace digital transformation at all will fall. I actually want to challenge you real quick, and this is totally off topic, but I want you to look at the Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 sometime. Take a screenshot of either one of them whenever you want. And when you graduate, and or in the next 4 or 5 years, I want you to compare that list to where it's at today. And you're going to see a major shift. Exactly. Apple's going to stick around, by the way, but all right, don't get me started. See, this is my problem. I can end up just ranting and raving about certain things and whatever. So if you tell me to just shut up and stay on tape, I definitely will. Any other questions about the video? No? All right, I'll give you a little bit of some stats here. Facebook obviously is a big player. Most reports are going to say that Facebook's at 1.39 billion people. Others will say 1.45. So I just put up the average of 1.4. Obviously, active daily users is much less at 100 million daily. Zuckerberg would want you to believe that 7 out of 8 daily Facebook users are on mobile. I don't buy that. I don't think it's that high. But fact is, actually, just for context for myself, how many are business marketing? Cool. This is going to help. Facebook is kind of like that necessary evil right now, right? Because they're so big. I mean, you can't deny the reach that Facebook has. However, you can deny that ads are annoying, right? Show of hands for people that wake up in the morning that say, I can't wait to see that on Coca-Cola. Right? And actually, nobody is going to wake up and say, man, I can't wait to see an ad from so-and-so. But somebody might wake up and say, that thing that I tweeted out to Coca-Cola yesterday actually got shit. And I can't wait to see how many notifications I have. That is the story. Because the fact of the matter is, and you already know this, this is what we're doing. Okay? This is where our attention is. This is what we're doing with it. All right? An ad is not going to stop us there. But Facebook has great reach, and their new ad algorithms is basically pay to play now. You can't deny the power of Facebook. The pain point here for businesses right now where we're at with Facebook is the organic reach has completely fallen off. I mean, when you're talking like an organic reach of about 3 to 6% of your following, it's nuts. You can no longer use it as a bullhorn. You know what I mean? The brands that are doing well on Facebook are producing the right kind of content that gets shared, that gets liked, that gets the conversation going. Okay, does that make sense? You guys cover content marketing, content anything yet? I know this is still fairly early. Okay. If I say something you don't understand, raise your hand and see if I can explain that real quick. Because again, I'm immersed in the industry, so I say terms that I'm familiar with, but I also know that you guys aren't necessarily familiar with. So there's no such thing as
You
unpopular.
talked about it a little bit. What would be your definition?
Content marketing, I can tell you in the plainest terms, content marketing is, well, in the video you saw the 4 C's, right? Creating, curating, culture, and connecting. Thank you. Awesome. Right? Content marketing is the thought process that the management leadership within a company decide to produce stories, whether they be through video or photo or platform-specific stories that engage an audience. Okay, so it's basically storytelling. So no, it's kind of we're going off of the how traditional advertising worked before, right? So when I say traditional advertising, chat, no. When you think of traditional advertising, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Absolutely. And how did people use those mediums in that? And why people only use it? Basically, one blanketed message sent to the masses. Okay. So think of content marketing as the ability to go from one to many, from one to one. That's what content marketing is. Brands that do it right, completely awesome. Okay, so it's disrupting that traditional avenue of advertising. Does that make sense? I can go all day on content. So, yep. Does that sort of answer your question as far as what content is versus content marketing versus traditional marketing? Okay, very good. For this slide, I grouped these two together for a couple different reasons. Number one, each one are hovering right around the 300 million user mark. And results kind of vary as to what the daily numbers are, but Instagram and Snapchat are the two highest growing applications right now on platforms, as we heard in this room. Twitter frustrates a lot of people because it's just this fire hose of tweets and links and just spammy junk all the time, right? But actually, when used right, Twitter is a cocktail party, and Twitter is actually my go-to app. That's my favorite. I've built more relationships, friendships, communities, everything else. It's my business is based on Twitter. So I can't live without it. If Twitter shut down tomorrow, I hope that I can get something done with Snapchat. But Twitter's awesome. It's amazing. There are more tweets a day than Instagram posts per day. Twitter's done something awesome with video. How many are aware of Twitter video? First of all, how many have a Twitter account? Okay, for those of you that have a Twitter account, how many of you use it daily? When you use it daily, what do you do?
About 3 hours working day.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah? Okay, very good. So, are you aware that Twitter allows for 30-second videos? Cool. That's something you need to use. You're going to want to use that. You're going to want to hack that. You're going to want to start leveraging that. All right, 140 characters sometimes isn't enough to tell your story. So you get 30 seconds of video, you can blow off. Right? Traditional advertising commercials show us the 30-second spots with the same message. You can use your own personal message on Twitter. And from, I'm not sure about Android, but from iPhone, you can go right into Twitter and record right from there on your camera app. Android, I'm not sure. I think you have to pre-record it and then attach it to the feed. I'm not sure. Twitter chat. Anybody familiar with Twitter chat? Okay. Awesome. So, Twitter chat is another app. All right, Twitter chats. Think of, okay, so when the internet was first coming out, an older guy like myself remembers chat rooms. And chat rooms was like, well, this at cocktail party. It really was. You know, you could sit down at your computer in your underwear and your shirt or whatever and just not really, care, but start talking to people. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to leave your house. You didn't have to dress up. There was no video element. It was all text-based, right? But you could join certain conversations. And that's how AOL really got on the map because of their chat platform, right? They had chats for everything. Business, dating, other social activities. Like, it was amazing. What Twitter has done is they've harnessed that power of chat and community building and centered it around hashtags. So if you go to Twitter search, probably more powerful than Google search. I'm not gonna lie. Twitter search, you can search hashtag and whatever you're interested in. Sports people. Awesome. There are Twitter chats for you guys. Marketing people, your mind's going to be blown by how many marketing chats there are. You need to leverage the power of these chats to build your community, to build your audience, to grow a following. Okay? You're going to use this as you get into the world, and you're going to bring that community with you, and you're going to bring that success into your business, whatever position you're in. If you start now while you're in school, start now building your personal brand. You saw that next gen biz man, and I'm on everything. Start that for yourself. You don't need to put out a cheesy name like I did. Use your name. Use your friend's Twitter handle for that. But start building your name, start building your brand right now. Because as soon as you graduate, when you get out there, you are going to have a much larger community behind you, and you will have way more opportunity. So that's State of the Union for these guys. Any more questions, comments, whatever? Twitter, Instagram. Go ahead.
I don't understand why it's important to follow.
What's that?
I don't understand why it's important for Twitter or Instagram follow.
Good question. All right, so what kind of career do you want to get into specifically?
I'm environmental science and modeling business. So I was thinking about remediation.
All right. For a layman guy like you, what's that?
Fixing mistakes that, for instance, give environment like a prevent nasty waste into the stream.
Gotcha. Okay, so generally speaking, building a following and building an audience right now to help you in the future, build your credibility. You can become a thought leader in that space simply by growing a following and engaging with them. You know what I mean? If you do the right steps along the way with your followers, you become that thought leader, and that puts you ahead of even your competition. Once you get a job, you can continue that leadership and grow that community even further. And that opens up all kinds of different opportunities. Okay. Cool. Anybody else have that question? No worries. Did I answer it okay? Yep. Very good. All right. Snapchat, my second favorite. 100 million users, 65 million daily. They say that 40 years of video is uploaded every year to Snapchat. 40 years of video every year is uploaded to Snapchat. 40 years. Blows my mind. Absolutely crazy. I heard Snapchat a lot in here when you said that was your favorite app. Why Snapchat? Oh, real quick. Why do you like Snapchat so much? Right? What makes it fun? You follow stories from your friends? Are you more of a direct Snapchat kind of person, or do you watch other people's feeds? Yeah? Have you done anything in that discovery row where the brands are, like Snapchat and stuff like that? How many of you have Snapchat on your phone right now? Hold up. Let's go through this real quick. It's gonna be fun. Discovery is that row, and I'll show you there. If you have Snapchat on your phone, that's okay. All right, go to the stories page. Which you should already. Yep, awesome. Do you see anything called My Story up there? Do any of you upload anything to the My Story portion of Snapchat? Yeah. Okay. So below that is the discovery line, right? Below that is brands. Basically, people that have paid Snapchat to have specific stories for their brand, right? I get my news from CNN on Snapchat. I get my recipes from Food Network because I'm a foodie off of Snapchat. I know I'm totally nerding out about this, and I really don't care because I don't Snapchat. So anyway, there's a show called Pillow Talk on a specific Snapchat channel in live, which populates probably once a week. That's a lot of fun. They do a lot of interviews with like NBA players and I don't know. It's just there's so much fun on Snapchat. And then below that, if you're following people, anytime they post it to their My Stories or their updates, you guys already know this, right? You go through there and kind of check it out. That's really this is where my attention is because I have so much fun. It's kind of funny that the media kind of gave it a bad rap when you guys first started using it. They wanted to come out and say, "Oh, be careful! The teenagers are sexting on Snapchat. You have to be careful. Like you have to monitor them." And that might have happened maybe 1% of the people that are actually using it, right? But it's another way for you to be social with your friends, right? And now you can follow your favorite brands on Snapchat. There's a lot of fun out there. I wanted to show you that because this is going to be one of the apps that you're going to want to pay attention to when you get out into the real world if you want to start marketing on social media. Snapchat and Instagram. So planning on here. Okay, questions, comments about Snapchat? Cool. And Pinterest. All right. See? Right? It's an addiction. And there is help. That's all right. Fastest growing demographic is the dudes. We're up 57% already so far. We're 40% growth in the previous year. That's because I like collecting things myself. I actually had a baseball collection, baseball card collection when I was a kid. And, when you get older, stuff happens. You lose that stuff. But now I can start collecting those favorite baseball cards of mine on Pinterest. Marketers are using Pinterest. They're using something called promoted pins. So these promoted pins are something that you're going to start seeing in feed. Ladies, if you're familiar, you click on it, but how many views in here to see that? Yes! Well done. iPhone man. Your name's there. PJ.
Yeah.
I got close that time. Anyways, brands are using Pinterest right now in a variety of ways, but promoted pins are something that is really awesome because that content that you see as a promoted pin can be linked to anything from a landing page where you go to buy the actual item or to learn more about a product or a service. Pinterest is really it's an interesting platform right now, and I think it's going to be one to watch in the future. Questions, comments on Pinterest?
Why is it growing so
Guys are, I'm going to tell you for me personally, I think that the draw for guys on Pinterest starts with sports. For me personally, and probably for a few of my friends that are now on Pinterest. The National Hockey League is doing awesome things with Pinterest. The NBA is kind of creeping in with it a little bit there. National Football League, obviously, is a big player. But sports are kind of bringing us over there. And we're finding ways to, plan a Super Bowl party, or, man cave is huge right now. If you went onto Pinterest and just, search man cave, it's going to blow your mind, all the cool stuff that people have in their living rooms and their basements. Wow, I need that. So, any interest you have, you can find on Pinterest. I didn't mean to rhyme that. That just got happened. Good question. Make sense? Awesome. Questions on the State of the Union. We're going to be done with the apps. So I'm going to give you a case study. Who's familiar with the Holiday Homes? Awesome. Very good. So in April of 2014, I was hired to take over the business operations for the team. And in 2012, 2013 season was very bad for them. They had an owner and a manager that probably ripped off a lot of people, probably tipped off a lot of fans. Just the franchise itself was not healthy. The team itself was winning championships, but the fan base was angry and upset. The building that seats 1,600, and they were averaging 200, 300 by the time I got there. All right? Our Facebook had barely 400 people, and no engagement. Absolutely none. So 2013-14, the owner made a management change, and in the middle of the summer of 2014, we actually were faced with a coaching change, and I think that also helped drive the change. But I knew that the fan base was upset. I knew that we had lost sponsorship money, and to a junior hockey team, there's three main sources of income, right? There's sponsorship, there's ticket sales, and then there's player fees. Okay, so when two of the three are out of sync, you're never gonna see black at the end of the year. Black in the books. You know that. Okay, cool. So I knew I needed to repair those relationships. We needed to get transparent about what we wanted to do. The very first post that I put out on Facebook was our mission statement. I created a mission statement, basically focused from the top to the bottom, three main areas that we needed to focus on. And this mission statement was going to be that by which we measure every decision by. Does that make sense? As you grow your own entrepreneurship, you get into business, mission statements are going to keep your culture in line, hold you accountable. Okay? So I posted that, and basically it said to the effect of, the first one was we were going to be responsible to our brand partners, our sponsors, by caring more about their bottom line than we do our own. They've been ripped off. They've been hurt. And Hell is a small town. You take one person out, you know what I mean? So sponsors was number one. Number two, we wanted to be more transparent with the fans. We wanted to give them more of what they wanted. We wanted cheaper prices. We wanted more. They wanted a culture which they didn't have. If you're familiar with hockey, if you play hockey, if you watch it, you'll know that we're just extremely passionate, right? Tight-knit community, and we want to have that type of interaction with our local hockey team. They haven't gotten that before. And the third was basically give value to everybody else and do the best we know that we could. I knew I struck a chord because that first post on Facebook, somebody had written back, and this is probably why a lot of businesses right now are not wanting to go on social. They're afraid of answering the tough questions. They're afraid of taking in those negative comments. So it came within 5 minutes. Yeah, you guys sure talk the talk, but you never walk the walk. Saying BS from the beginning. So I looked at that, and I was like, okay, this is an opportunity. And that opportunity, literally, that was the moment where everything shifted. I basically just got on there and I commented right away. I said, Lyle, thank you for reaching out to us. Your opinion is very, very important to me, and it's important to the organization. We recognize that repairing the relationships between us will not happen overnight, but posting this mission statement holds us publicly accountable. And I ended up running into him at one of our first games, and he said, Brad, your post was really awesome. I didn't expect you to even respond. Nobody's ever responded to me on Facebook. So that's an opportunity for a brand to really go out and step outside their zone and meet the challenge head on. Okay? Not only did we regain a former fan's trust, but he brought friends. Pretty soon, we're getting more engagement on Facebook. We created a Twitter account. We got the players involved. Started creating a social culture involving our fans and our sponsors. We had a 36% top line growth, which I don't know how much you know about this stuff just yet, but anytime a corporation like Target or Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 company, whatever, even hits 5% growth, people are popping bottles, they're jumping on jets, they're giving raises, they're having parties. That's like huge, right? 5% growth, it's amazing. 36% with the big ones. Top of one. We also spent more that year because we had a new coach. But we broke a 4-year attendance record, and then we broke that record another 3 times. Finally, a building that seats 1,600 was getting just about 1,500. And we were excited. And it was electric. It was awesome. And they were all engaged, and it was all thanks to social media. I think I spent maybe $150 on radio ads. I'm not sure they ordered anything. But I do know for a fact that Facebook and Twitter is directly responsible for our growth. For sure. So at that point, I decided, you know what? If I can help one small business, maybe I can help another. So that's why I opened up my own social media agency, where basically we focus on, first of all, educating and training. It's not a long-term success for a brand to have somebody run their account for them, but it is in their best interest to have somebody train them on the right way to do social. You know what I mean? So you get to keep your social voice. So any questions about the case study, about the bighorns, about that before we get into Mickey's back? I know I'm going way longer than I want to. Go ahead.
So they kind of on their own for this next season?
Yeah. That's their own own. Mm-hmm.
And they have somebody good.
Well, they're on their own.
There.
I don't know, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm a little confident in my skills, but they don't have anybody.
So that's a big celebration I've seen for 12 years at least, where people don't have the time or the money or the energy or the wherewithal to do this themselves as small businesses, and that they're willing to hire and bring in, maybe to set them up, but then they can maintain it, or the goal is to train them to maintain it, and then that takes a second step to going inventory and managing. So
No, you're absolutely right. Those are the number one. Those are top problems for business owners right now, including myself as a business owner. I'm in a weird juxtaposition where I run a social media company and I have little time to run my social media. You know what I mean? I've got to worry about a lot of other things. But obviously, I make the extreme effort to do social for my company and for my own personal brand. I'm just a weird different that way. But not every business is built that way. Okay, so there is an area of opportunity. When you go to get internships, for example, I'm betting dimes to donuts that your contact or your boss or however that works is going to be like, hey, we need you to run the social media account.
9 times out of 10, right?
Yeah. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. My problem is, as a student, you have higher things going on than running your internship social media account, all right? Like, you're here to go to school, you're here to graduate, you're here to get your own career started. And I think it's probably not a very thought out process for a business owner or manager to give social media to somebody that's going to be an intern for them for 5 to 10 hours a week. Social media, it needs a lot more than that. It needs more than you can give it. Does that make sense? But when you go there and they ask you this, hopefully you'll remember this little presentation, and that you remember that if you use social media as an engagement tool and not as an advertising platform, then you're going to be on your way. And you might even trade about at the same time. You know what I mean? All right. Any more questions? Myth versus fact. Follower count equals credibility. 2008, yes. 2007, definitely. 2015, not so much. I should have said what was like beyond. See? It's close. Beyond how many followers does a brand need to really make a difference in engagement? Roughly followers. Okay? Anybody else want to take a stab at it? Anybody else? There is a right answer. Yeah, see? You'd have been the hero. Oh, so close. It's all good. It only takes one, and here's why. Because as you're building your following and you're building your presence online, and somebody follows you, that means that you've provided them at least a little bit of value where they're like, okay, I want to see more from you. It is your responsibility socially to engage with that person and to let them know that you appreciate them following. That one person will then feel much more connected and will start sharing the content that you put out there. That person will start bringing 3 or 4 of their friends because of those shares. Repeat the process. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's some value, here's some value. Go out and do more of that. They'll become your brand ambassador. That's how you grow your following. We'll cover that myth here in just a second. But follower count does not equal credibility. Not anymore. Fact is, follower count doesn't equal anymore. The thought process is, with traditional media, we had to get out in front of as many people as we possibly could so that we could get our message out there, right? We've got this awesome sale happening at Super One, and I need to get this television advertising out so that everybody can see this. And I want as many people to see this ad as possible. Social doesn't work that way, right? I want to take a stab at the meaning of social, just the word social. Somebody want to look it up on the phone real quick? Yeah? Yeah. Interaction. Social is interaction, right? Remember to interact in social media, especially as you guys populate the business space, and social media goes from social media to social economy. That's where it's going, right? So we'll cover more about building followers in just a second, but your follower count doesn't need that as much as it used to. Does that make sense? Anybody agree with that? Disagree with that? Okay. Moving on. Myth. Social media doesn't work for all businesses and industries. Has anybody heard this one before? Probably not. I get it all the time. And again, coming from a mentality where you're using social as an ad platform and not an engagement tool. I'm going to hammer that home. I want you to take that home with you. All right? See, I can rant it. I'm just going to move on. Myth versus fact. The best way to get followers is to buy them or follow unfollow. Anybody ever done this with their social media accounts? Has anybody ever bought followers? Purchase followers. Great, awesome. Love you guys. Has anybody done the whole follow unfollow thing? No? Real quick question. Is anybody in here running a Facebook page for a club or for a group? Awesome. Good. That's good. Did you have a following before you took the page over?
We built a page.
Nice. How did you get followed?
Well, we're still working on the whole process, but it's for my internship. So we're running a Peace Corps on campus.
Nice.
For the internship. And so there's going to be, like, I wrote an article for our newspaper that's going to be out in a couple days. Starting to, like, share things.
Sure. Do you, as a page admin, you follow anybody from that page?
Like, follow from page, yeah, we follow, like, the main Peace Corps and our supervisor, that kind of thing.
Okay. Are there common demographics between what your page stands for and Peace Corps itself? Is there common?
Yeah, definitely. So
Wow.
we're trying to get, kids who are graduating from college to go on to Peace Corps. So we want people to, like, look back on there and, like, hey, we're here to help you, but this is what you actually have to do.
Sure. Awesome. And did you raise your hand? You're managing page. What are you doing?
I'm raising a program now, and so it's actually kind of a requirement, which I think is nice for everyone who has it on. Kind of for either the shelter they came from, or like for me, I just reached out to everyone who already follows me because they know me.
Sure. That's easy.
Yeah. And then I've also got people from where this dog was from that I've never met. So yeah.
So what's happening now is because people believe that brand. Thank you for sharing, by the way. That was awesome. You guys don't know that. The reason the system's broken because people think credibility is based on your follower count. So when somebody launches a new Twitter account or Instagram account, they'll oftentimes go to a business where they can purchase followers. And basically these are bot followers. 8 times out of 10 this way. Okay? You can spot these accounts because they'll be following maybe 100 people, and they'll have a following of 2,000 or more, 10,000 or more. You know, the ratio in Twitter and Instagram, if it's way off, that should be your first one. All right. Think of the follow unfollow method as say you meet somebody cool, right? And you know, you talk for a while, and you know, maybe you start dating a little bit. I mean, you go a period, you know, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. But all of a sudden, this other person just like stops calling, right? Like, has anybody ever been through that situation in any amount? Okay, that's what follow unfollow is in real life. Okay, it's building trust within one another, and then suddenly, oh, thanks for the follow. See you later. That's pretty much all you know. And people right now, we can smell the gas. We know when you bought. We know when you followed and unfollowed. It's just not a good practice anymore. You know what I mean? If we think of social media as being social and engaging, then you'll never fall into this. Any questions about that myth? Cool. Golden rules. Remember these 2 things about social media for the rest of your time in school, and you're gonna win. In social, golden rule number 1: you get what you give. Just like in real life, the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. Same in social. You get what you give. If you want more engagement on your page, you need to start engaging other pages. If you want more engagement on your Twitter, then you need to start tweeting them more and getting them engaged in the conversation more. If you want people to follow you on Instagram and like your pictures and engage and comment, then you yourself need to get out there and start engaging and commenting and liking their stuff. Does that make sense? You get what you give in social media, just like in real life. And then number 2, if you're doing social media the right way, you're making friends. You're building a community. You're learning from each other and growing from each other, right? This should be a KPI for your social media. Number 1, KPI. If you're making friends, KPI, we're good with that, right? Key performance indicators. Awesome. Okay. If you're making friends along the way in your social media platforms, then you're doing it right. Okay? And it takes time to build it. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. This takes months. It can take months. And actually, with the bighorns, I didn't start seeing a lot of these returns until about our 2nd month into the season. I started really seeing a lot of this take off. It hit fever pitch at the right time before playoffs. But it took some time. You know, by the time I left, we had less than 800 followers, and we were all having fun. We had people sharing our stuff all the time. I mean, videos that people love, and I love. I mean, it's just giving people what they want. That's all you got to do. Right? Third golden rule is to always be a student of the game. Social media changes so much that if you keep pace with the change, you will do your business a major service by being ahead of the curve and keeping your ear to the road. I don't know. Try to translate that statement a little bit. So, all right. So that's my spiel. I don't know where we're at with time, but Q&A. Like, I really want to have a conversation. We can talk about specific platforms. If you want to talk more about Twitter, we can do that. If you want to talk more about Instagram, what works on Instagram. If you guys want to talk more about how social media can impact your business or your future career, anything, hit me with your questions, because I think this is where you're going to get the best out. Does that mean we get to leave the room? Am I right? Okay. Seriously, that's meaningful. But
Talk about LinkedIn
yeah.
and how we talked a little bit about it in here, and then you found Tom Evans and the needs really.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use it?
I use well, before I started out on my own, LinkedIn was pretty much how I went and got a job. You know, Now I use, knowing what I know now, I go back into LinkedIn, and that's where my online networking happens with people that I really want to get in contact with. I'm glad you brought this up because remember when I said earlier about using Twitter search and Twitter chat and leveraging the power of Twitter in a conversation. Say you want to work, or say you want to interview somebody for your blog. Anybody blog currently right now on their own? Go ahead and start. Say you run a blog and it's all based on college football, okay? And you want to interview somebody in the NCAA, right? How are you going to find them? How are you even going to make contact? First of all, I go to LinkedIn and I go to see if they have a LinkedIn profile. If they have a LinkedIn profile, then I'll go into Twitter search. And then once I'm in the Twitter search, then I'll reverse engineer that connection and I'll reach out to them through Twitter and start liking their stuff. I'll follow them. I'll go through some of their tweets and I'll start hitting favorite or I'll start retweeting. Or I'll hit reply. I'll be like, that's a great post, coach. Start building a relationship that way. And then once that's happened and they start to acknowledge you, go back to LinkedIn. Hey, coach so-and-so, this is yada yada. I'm from Holland, Montana. I've got a blog that I run. I'd love to interview you. I've actually gotten some business. I said Twitter is my number one business platform right now. It's because I'm using it just like that. If I find them on LinkedIn or not, I still go to Twitter. And I find them there and I engage in there. I like having the ability to network locally within LinkedIn, and especially for my industry, because how many Montanans do we have in the room? Okay, so we can all pretty much admit that Montana is behind the times on a lot of things, right? Like we're not like the latest and fast. We don't have the latest technology here, right? I mean, that's just Montana way, right? Well, the same is with social media. There's an awful lot. There's a majority of business owners in Montana that have not embraced any kind of digital transformation whatsoever. They haven't embraced any kind of social media, and those that are still using it as an ad platform. So the best way for me to reach Montana businesses is through LinkedIn. I'm not going to find many of them on Twitter. So that's how I like it. Does that answer your question about Twitter or LinkedIn? Emails to LinkedIn sometimes get read, sometimes they don't. So if you're finding that you're trying to reach out to somebody through LinkedIn and it's not working, try to Twitter out, try to Facebook out. You can find them on Facebook. Reach out to them that way. If they have a website, they run a company page, they'll most likely have their contact information. Pick up the phone and call them directly. A lot of people around here still find value in a phone call. Good question. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah.
Hear your apples feel.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. All right. Before I go into this rant, I am going to connect this to Blab, and I wanted to be able to get this on screen. And I'll explain what Blab is here in just a minute. Looks like we've had a few people in the room. Anybody familiar with Google Hangouts? Yeah? Okay. Periscope. Anybody familiar with Periscope? Yeah? Awesome. Good on you. Blab is basically if Periscope and Google Hangouts had a love child. Okay? This is everything that Google Hangouts needed to innovate. Okay? So, why is Apple going to continue to win? Apple wants to be everywhere all the time. They want to, ever since Steve Jobs was there, their number one goal was to make products that not only engage you, but inspire you. They want to inspire the world. They want to change the world. Okay? Apple is going to continue to win so long as they keep that mentality. Samsung? Okay, here we go. This is the meat and potatoes of this. All right, Samsung is playing catch up to Apple. I mean, who can deny that, right? If Samsung continues to do things the Apple way, they'll always come behind iPhone. But stats don't lie. If Samsung decided to step out of the Apple shadow and be Samsung, tell their own story, make their own mark in the world, instead of trying to do things the way Steve Jobs did it, then they'll start to win. Then they might actually push the pace on Apple and get them to move out of that number one spot in the Fortune 100, Fortune 50. You know what I mean? But so long as Apple continues to innovate and tell their own stories, to create awesome products that we all use, nobody has a chance. How's that? That was the extreme edited version. Just so you know. I agree. She said, if you didn't hear her, she said being second to Apple isn't such a bad thing. I agree, but the part of me that disagrees is I'm competitive. And the right CEO with the right competitive nature can change that. If you're cool with being second, Apple's cool with being first, I can promise. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Fix Samsung, stop doing it the way Steve Jobs. Stop watching all these Steve Jobs. He won because he innovated. He won because he stuck to his gut. He had a direction and a vision that he stuck to, that he empowered himself to, and that he surrounded people around himself and sold them the vision, who then bought him and helped them grow. You know what I mean? That part they can replicate, but they're still wanting to do the same processes that Apple is doing, build the same things that Apple is, just to try to compete for that dollar in the horizon. So if I were CEO, I'd turn off the Steve Jobs valve immediately. Start telling our own story. You know? And listen to your customers. I think Apple's really good at listening to their customers. I think Samsung's really good at it. I'll tell you what my experience with Samsung, why I'm so jaded. So those banner ads, you guys just, I know you're doing this banner ad on websites. Those pop-up ads. That was annoying. Oh. Anyways, in a phone, especially a 4S, you know, and a dude with fat fingers, like those are hell. Okay? I can't stand them. And I was in an app, I was on a website for fantasy football, and I kept getting this pop-up for the new Samsung phone. I'm like, great, but I can't, that X is teeny. I mean, it's teeny on a desktop. On this, forget about it. I'm not even touching it. So I must have clicked this damn ad like 6 or 7 times throughout the day. And of course, on the other end, for the people that bought, you know, that ad space, they're like, yes, this ad is working. People are clicking on it. This is amazing. Meanwhile, I'm over here going, calling my mom, going, Mom, I will never buy another Samsung product in my entire life. I absolutely hate them, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's that experience, you know, it doesn't build trust in the brand, right? It doesn't engage your following. So that's why social media is going to disrupt everything. And it is easy. Well,
I want to go back to LinkedIn for a second.
Yeah.
I'm super, like, never know how to do this, but the etiquette to LinkedIn, like, I was just wondering if you know, like, it's okay to, like, because teachers always, like, don't, like, LinkedIn me, you know, request me or anything. So do you know, like, what, like, college students should kind of do to, like, who they should try to connect with on that?
wow. And I'm not too familiar with that problem being too old. But, well, try this on. See if it fits. All right. If somebody is presenting that kind of an attitude towards a student on LinkedIn professionally, don't work with them. Don't bother. Somebody else needs it. How about that? If they're not willing to connect with you on LinkedIn, on probably the most professional of networks, but they don't want to, you know, receive emails from students. Is that basically what it is? That they don't want to connect? Or they don't want to...
Well, and then they also, you know, they tell us that, like, once you've, like, met the person a few times, like, had conversations, then it's okay to connect. But I feel like it's not 100%.
Very hard. No, you're asking a guy that's always social first. So like, somebody reaches out to him, cool, sweet. In fact, if you follow me on Twitter, I record a 30-second video, personalized, all the time. It's just how I do it. The way I love doing that stuff. And people, when they get that, they're like, dude, that was awesome. Thank you. I've never gotten that before. I've been on Twitter for 5 years. Nobody's ever sent me a video, but that's great. Anyway, if they're not willing to be in touch with you, somebody else out there probably knows what's going on. Especially for me. I don't know what you think.
I interact with people. I will usually not reach out to people that I don't know, but if I see a student that's graduated or someone maybe that I work with or that I've known in the past, I'll connect with them. I don't do it often like this. But someone just asked me this question yesterday and said they're moving to the person who's going to graduate and they want to start looking for positions and how can they make that connection. And I said LinkedIn, and she said, well, how do I use LinkedIn if I don't know these people? And I said, well, start using people that you do know and see who they know in Portland, and then ask them to kind of make connections with you. I mean, that's all you're going to do is you can either wait till you get there and then person walk around and shake people's hands, or kind of start this interactive. I feel we have a good alumni network, but I don't really know how we use that for finding jobs. And so this was my answer just to start as a Carroll alumni, just start making that connection. And I don't find it offensive at all. If I don't recognize somebody's name, I'm usually not going to connect, or I'm going to try to figure out how they would use. But I don't have this feel like everything.
Maybe another way to go about that too, like along those same lines, is if you have actual personal access, like if you can go and shake their hand somehow, some way, and just introduce yourself, start a conversation there, and just kind of just give them that call to action when you're done. By the way, you mind if we connect on LinkedIn? You can send your email, blah, blah, blah. You can do that, and I'm pretty sure maybe then they'd be good with it. I hope they'd be good with that.
Because my biggest thought for these guys is then seeing people know. There's administrators and faculty staff here who know who they know in other parts of the country and positions that we need to qualify for. Yes.
Good question.
So this is being streamlined.
Yes.
What is the point of it?
Okay, so the point of this, I'm so glad. Thank you. You're bringing me right around. Thank you for keeping me on track. Awesome. Okay, so this is Blab. What Blab does is it allows for up to 3 other seats. So I'm inviting people in here, and the seat is yours, Kajula, if you want to take it. So anyway, what this is, the point of this is live streaming. For as much as social media is forcing change, live streaming is going to make it lightning fast. Okay? You're on Periscope, right? Are you starting to see some famous people start to use Periscope at all?
Oh, yeah.
Right? How awesome is that? Tell me about your experience with Periscope.
I usually, it's a lot of, I follow on Sarah community about it.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly what it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the ones that kind of give us like that behind the scenes scope.
Yeah.
You know, that it's like just before I go out on my show. Anybody familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk? Oh, yes, you need to. Gary Vaynerchuk is going to change your life. All right. Gary's really good at doing that behind the scenes from Meerkat, which is a similar app. Blab right here lets us do several different seats at once. And I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I said you could take a seat. So if you want to take a seat, go ahead. And if not, you know, you don't have to keep chirping.
Gary's the wine guy, right? The wine guy. Gary's.
Yep. He started as the wine guy, and basically he started a media business that called Vayner Media. So the point here is with Blab is they can populate the seat. I have the seats open, so they people can come in and converse with it. We can have a real-time conversation about any kind of topic. So right now my topic is social media for business lecture to Carroll College students by yada yada, okay? I can tweet that out, that column on the left. Hey Evan, how are you, man? Would you please jump in the seat? And I'm gonna hit tell a little bird, and Evan is coming into the seat right here. Bam. So now we're gonna make this a conversation with you and my buddy Evan. How are you, Evan? Can you hear me okay?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Sure, man.
Tell everybody who you are, where you're at.
I'm in Brooklyn, New York. My wife is at the desk over there, probably going to look around the corner and be like, be quiet. Anyways, I'm a real estate broker and I run a little indie record label called Five and Dime Records. And I'm a fan of Brad's. Where are you guys?
I'm a pretty big fan of you, Evan. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm not mic'd up.
I can hear you just fine.
Perfect.
I think this works well when there's just two window panes for you to be talking off headphones.
You think so?
I mean, it's fine. I'm getting no echo. And
that's awesome. So you can see down here, Evan, just populate the seat for me for a while if you want, man.
Sure.
And, question. So down here, I have my desktop notifications on. Anytime somebody's following me or somebody I'm following is starting a blab of their own, I'll get the desktop notification right there. It also pushes to my phone. This is the first multi-screen live stream platform that you can use with your mobile device. So if you have a Twitter account, you can download Blab right now and get into the beta version of Blab, and you can actually populate the next feed. It's really awesome. So you can tell a little bird, this all goes out to the Twitter followers. You can put hashtags, you can hit @tags and everything else, and get the Twitter community involved. Evan, how did you hear about the Blab?
Oops, I heard about it just because I got pinged, I think. I got one of the alerts that you were doing something, so I was on another one. I just hopped in because I missed your hockey thing, and I wanted to give you a... I didn't even know what you were talking about.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad you came. He's referring to, I have a weekly show on Blab called the Hockey Blab, so like I'm interviewing coaches and players from all levels of hockey, and going to turn into a podcast. I don't know. Just a lot of fun, something to blow up steam. But the comments over here, they can actually, interact with the host. They can interact with anybody else. So the comments over here, Christy Martin is actually one of my community managers for the Hockey Lab. She's come in. Says, Brad teaching a class. Awesome. Let them know I'm here. Hi, Christy. You want the other seat? So she can talk to me anytime. If I'm off screen, for example, I can still get this notification if I'm in another application on my phone. Something like that. You know what I mean?
She's busy. Yeah.
Oh, she's busy?
She's off camera, too.
Very good. So this is Blab. This is live interaction. Like, anything, you can talk about anything. I mean, Evan, do you want to tell? I love that story about how Blab kind of connected you and got you. Was it a contract?
Well, here's a crazy story. Okay, so okay, kids, do you want to learn about social media? Here we go. So sorry, I just had a coffee and I'm a little had to clear the throat. So here's the deal. There's a show called Blab Talk Live that's run by a gentleman by the name of Joel Com and Vincenzo Landino, very Italian name. And they get good viewership, sort of like 100 people at a time type of thing. And they did this sort of goofy late night music show where they were naming, sorry, they were playing music and you could jump on and tell a story about what the song meant to you. And I just saw a whole bunch of people having a lot of fun around music. And this is a new platform with lots of energy around it. And I thought, it would be a great idea to make a theme song for Blab Talk Live. But then, the way that I do music and my business partner do music was like not just any theme song, but like an over the top kind of crazy thing. We had a session coming up where we had a bunch of musicians in a room together. So we recorded this the best way to do it is I'll just throw the link up there and you can send it. Christy, just check out that Twitter when you can. Sorry, guys. Anyways, from there, I was in a music meeting talking about social media, this very subject that Brad knows a lot about, and you should follow his lead because he's really, really good and knows how to use these platforms well. I was talking with a high-end music executive and who hadn't heard of Blab, and I called up Blab, and there was another session going on that gentleman Joel Com was in. He saw that I joined because I don't know if you can see down the side there, but you can get notifications when people come in the room. And he said, "Oh, and by the way, have you heard the Blab Talk Live theme song? Because Evan Doobie just joined the room." And so you can imagine I look like a Svengali to the music industry person, because not only was I talking about this platform, but within 15 seconds of me joining, they played 100 people heard my song, and then a whole bunch of people, like all these like follows came through on my phone, and he was completely blown away. And we immediately did a deal for how to engage social media around music and buy a bunch of copyrights, and basically just wrote a check for a music endeavor, which, if you know anything about the music business, is hard to get people to write checks. So I had been on this platform, Brad, if you click on my thing, I don't know, was it a month or so?
Yeah, maybe not
Maybe.
even quite that. Hey, but real quick, Evan, sorry to interrupt you. Khan is in the room right now. Then, Khan, I just want to open up the seat to you so you can talk to the students real quick while Evan finishes his story. Go ahead and pop in, say hi to the students if you would. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that was basically it. It was kind of one of those moments that you can't really script, and movie magic type of thing, where I had been excited by people enjoying music in live form, took my skill set, know-how, and relationships, and carved out an hour's worth of time to make a very cheeky Blab Talk Live theme song. They played it and used it on I pinged the people who were running the show, and I was like, hey, I made you a theme song. And they were like, aha, cool. And I was like, no, really, it's a thing that, a bunch of pros did, and they were flipped out over it. They played it, and then somebody in the music industry saw it with me in front of them and got introduced to Blab by it. And his mind, you just saw his mind rewire and explode. So I think there's just a lot of possibilities for people who have, particularly people that are going to school, that if you have an interest in an idea, I think people are really reachable. This platform is what I've said, a trust accelerator. So you can get to know people really deeply, quickly, and have them affect your life in that way. So I don't know if this is hard. I was almost going to use a curse word, so I just forgot I'm talking to kids, college kids. All right, I don't know if this shit is horribly boring or if I'm making you nuts, but that's the story. Where are you guys, by the way? Where is Carroll College?
Oh, we're in
Montana. Wow.
That's right. Yeah, this blows all of our minds, Evan. we just got electricity in Montana like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, stop that. So untrue. Well, if you kids know people who want to have their music listened to, they are welcome to email it to my record label, by the way. Brad, you can share that with anybody, that we're going to be doing a Blab down the road where we're going to have people performing live. And Justin, this gentleman who did the deal with me, is going to be a coach on the show, and another big music industry person is going to be a coach. So if there's people who want their stuff heard by people, Blab's going to be the spot to do it down the road. You can get in touch with Brad, and he'll put you, in touch with me, and one of those type of things. Ooh. Hold on one sec, guys. I think someone's knocking on my door. I'll be right back.
Very good. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Brittany, the seat is open. If you'd like to take it, introduce yourself to the students. Let me give you guys a quick little refresher. You heard me talking about this guy, Khan. The reason why I love Blab so much is just live startup.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Yeah, no, I mean, we would. Haven't had a mouse episode at all since your guy came.
Oh, okay.
And no cockroaches
He's
either.
awesome. We should hop back on this.
It's been months, so I know we would have found by now.
All right. I'm looking at the hallway and stuff.
Oh, great.
Sorry, guys.
How much time do we have left? I don't even know where
Probably weird.
we got 5 minutes there, Ace, so we're going to let you go, but we'll be back at 2:15 Southern Canada time.
Awesome, guys. Great chatting with you all. Well done, Brad.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Brittany's coming in. Sweet. Oh, I'm excited for you to meet Brittany. This is amazing. Hi, Brittany.
Sorry, it's super loud in here.
No worries. You can actually do well.
Yeah. Hey guys, I thought I'd say hi, but I went to New York for Periscope Summit, so I thought this was a really cool use case, and I just wanted to say Like, this was awesome.
Thank
So,
you. You made it happen. You made it possible. Thank you so much.
yeah, awesome way to bring in speakers. Okay, I'll hop out. It's too loud.
All right. Take care, Brittany. All right. So I'm tapping on the screen right there, and that's called fields or props, actually. So anytime somebody says something kind of like in Periscope, you give them some hearts. Only it's not gamified. These disappear at the end of the class. Christy.
Well, hello there. How are you, partner?
What do you know?
What's up? All of a sudden, I saw my two new favorite guys, Evan and Brad, on Blab, and I had to jump in and see what you guys were doing, and this is super cool.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're just wrapping it up here. We got like 3 minutes left, but Brittany, the one that was on earlier, she's the community manager for Blab, so she runs the Blab blog, does some videos. She'll pop into certain Blabs and she'll feature them on like a daily email. She's also very tech savvy, and if there's a problem within a Blab because it is in beta, it's still being tested. If there is an issue, then she's really good if somebody else can't jump on to help with technical issues also. Brittany's a member of the founding team, and she's done amazing. I've connected with Christy through Blab, and together we've started a hockey show every Thursday at 8. And I haven't heard back from Kevin Constantine, by the way, so we're going to have to table that one. But
that's all right. That's all right.
I'll reach out to you probably this evening or tomorrow, one of these days. I got another one of these today, this afternoon. So
that sounds cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to shut it down.
Yep.
I want to take some wave goodbye, everybody. Bye, Christy.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
Take care. I'll see you soon. Okay. Questions, comments?
So does the 22 mean that's how many people are watching?
Great question. Live viewers is 22. 52 is the total view. So earlier when we weren't necessarily blabbing, we had people popping into the stream that were like, oh, this is supposed to be, a multi-seat. This isn't Periscope, yada, yada. Well, it's because we weren't engaging people really. I just wanted to wait until the end to show you this. I think next one, we're just going to blab the whole thing, if that's all right.
You guys welcome to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So 24 is the live viewers watching now, and 54 is who's in.
So this is all in testing phase. It's not available to everyone.
It is if you have a Twitter account. It runs off of Twitter. So if you have a Twitter handle, you can log on to Blab through the phone, iPhone, excuse me. It's not available for Android just yet. So if you have Android, you need to go use your desktop. But give it a shot. Play with it. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously. Android phone can use Chrome. Thanks. I wish I saw that earlier. Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I see the question, it would be better to use two cameras for this or one for the audience and the speaker. You are absolutely right. At the beginning of this, I tried to hook up three. We had a little bit of technical issues, so I kind of had to pivot and just go right into my presentation. We are doing this again at 2:15 Mountain Standard Time, and hopefully those bugs will be worked out. So thank you. That's an excellent question. Thanks for being here. Yeah, this was fun. Had a lot of fun. Use a lab mic next time. Sounds good. Great use of lab. No, it was fun. We had fun. It didn't work out the way that I was really hoping, but we're going to use Blab for the entire presentation next time. So, anyways, I'm going to shut her down. Thank you so much, guys. That was awesome. I wanted to say hi from Germany. Well, hello from Germany. That's awesome. Meine Deutsch ist nicht so gut.
Yeah, okay. I'll send it to you.
Aber ich finde Blab sehr cool. Yes, it was fun for the students. I'm reading it off.
Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to shut her down. We'll see you guys in a few hours. All right. Great.